let's talk Doomsday. That is Avengers Doomsday and Dune Part 3. They're playing a game. Release date chicken. Dune Part 3, everyone knows, has all the IMAX screens for the release on December 18th, 1 week before Christmas. And that's going to severely cut into Doomsday. Let's take a look at this. A story from Forbes. Alan, I know you have notes. Let's take a look at this. Are they going to change? Could Doomsday move their date?
All right. Well, Hollywood, it was poised for another Barbenheimer-style box office showdown dubbed Doomsday, with Avengers Doomsday and Dune Part 3 both scheduled to release on December 18th. While the idea of the two massive blockbusters colliding generated buzz, it also raised eyebrows, since studios typically avoid direct competition to prevent splitting audiences and hurting overall revenue. Unlike the rare successes of Barbenheimer, this kind of head-to-head clash, especially involving an Avengers film, seems unusually risky. Now reports suggest that Avengers Doomsday may move its release up 1 week to December 11th. The key reason isn't fear of losing to Dune, but rather strategic play for IMAX screens. Dune 3 has already secured a large share of IMAX theaters, which are crucial for maximizing box office returns due to the higher ticket prices and premium viewing demand. By shifting its release dates, Doomsday could take advantage of those screens for at least one full weekend before Dune takes over. Even if both films open on the same day, Avengers Doomsday would certainly dominate based on the franchise's track record. By comparison, Dune 1 debuted at 41 million, Dune 2 at 82 million. While Dune is a major success on its own right, those numbers highlight just how consistently the Avengers films operate in box office scale. Ultimately, the potential shift isn't about backing down, but about maximizing advantage. Opening a week early allows Marvel to avoid splitting the audience, securing valuable IMAX screens, and maintaining the kind of dominant performance the Avengers brand is known for, rather than leaving any revenue on the table in an unnecessary box office clash.
Well, I do think that Avengers Doomsday is going to move. It may even move into 2027.
That would be bad.
That'd be what if they move to, let's say, April or May 2027. That would be 1 year later than their release date. They are currently going into 2 months of reshoots. They call it, Kevin Feige calls it plussing the movie. That means maybe you've got a line here you could improve with some jokes. I don't know. I have no inside knowledge of how massive the changes and reshoots, and maybe it's not the correct way to call it reshoots. They call it additional photography.
Yeah, you know what I call it? I call it the Marvel method. I mean, that's the way they did. They would draw the comic first and then add the story and dialogue in afterwards.
That was how, if you've watched documentaries about how Stan Lee and Jack Kirby did comics, Stan Lee would come into the bullpen. He kind of pitched the broad strokes of the story. He would even act it out in very Shakespearean dramatic reading of Marvel. It's clobbering time. He'd act it out. Jack Kirby would go back and draw it. He'd leave little space here and there for balloons, and then Stan Lee would put in the words, and it worked. That's what built Marvel.
Yeah.
The
risk wasn't that high compared to a $100 million movie.
Yeah, look, so I think Doomsday either moves up by a week, because Jumanji already moved from the 11th to the 25th. That leaves an open spot. That means Doomsday could move up a week and get an extra week of IMAX screens. And I believe that Doomsday in January, if it does move to the 11th, in January, it's going to go back to IMAX screens. Dune Part 3 has an exclusive 3 weeks, nearly all the IMAX screens except in international. But what were we going to say, Alan?
Yeah, I was just going to say that Look, the last Avengers movie was Endgame. It just, this article points out the track record of an Avengers movie. That's gone. That's long gone. Too much time has passed. Movies haven't been that good. No one's excited about this. No one knows what it's about. So yeah, why not move it up a week? If you're doing this for ego and for status, it's the wrong reason. And then all these reshoots going on just shows you, rarely is a movie good that doesn't have a plan or doesn't have a script beforehand that people are following. And it's just not looking good for Doomsday. At least Dune had a book to go off of.
Well, and don't get me started on Dune. Dune Part 3, I think it will be a mixture. It's going to be a mixture of Dune Messiah and Children of Dune. Events from Children of Dune are likely to take place within this Part 3. That's why it's not called Dune Messiah. It's not an exact adaptation. It's a same thing with Dune Part 1 and 2 were not precise. They focused on certain things, certain characters like Thufir Hawat were missed in Part 2, which I really would have liked to have seen Thufir Hawat. They kind of, don't you know Thufir Hawat?
No, but I do know. I do know their kids, Leto and Veronica, or whatever the girl's name is.
It's Ganima. I don't know the correct pronunciation. I go to I defer to nerd cookies for pronunciations.
Yeah, I mean, look,
the universe.
What Avengers Doomsday has going for it is people know the characters.
Well, but I'll say this: I think Dune has the momentum.
Yeah,
you and I were at that Dune Part 3 trailer reveal event.
Yeah,
the enthusiasm was amazing. I have seen since seen the trailer in the wild in front of movies at my AMC Burbank, and you know what? Everyone clapped and applauded and cheered for the trailer. They did not for other trailers. And those other Avengers Doomsday trailers, the kind of series of trailers, kind of all landed with a thud.
Well, it felt like we were being manipulated. Oh, look, Chris Evans. You must love this.
Yeah, Chris Evans.
I mean,
I saw all those trailers in the theater and nobody clapped, nobody cheered, nobody was excited. But if they move the date, are they going to they have this countdown clock. You can go to the countdown clock at Marvel. It's just on always. Counting down to
record the moment.
Are they going to have to just,
roll it back?
Roll it up, or what are they going to do?
Someone's going to do a live stream of the clock being rolled back.
I mean, almost every way they've had to promote Avengers Doomsday, every way has landed with a thud. The chair reveal, what was that, like a 3-hour stream revealing the cast? That kind of didn't get the attention they thought. The rollout of these trailers, the X-Men, Wakanda, and the FF, Steve Rogers didn't. I want to know what the story is, but Dune has got people, and I'll just say what at least from what I saw being at the event, what I know from having read the books, it's going to be more palace intrigue, more of a thriller. It'll be more Godfather 2 meets Revenge of the Sith. It's not going to be what people expect. It's
there's a sense that Villeneuve understood the books. And I think
I believe that, having talked.
I mean, I say that everyone knows the characters of Avengers. The reality is if you were to place money on it, Dune is probably going to be the better movie from a movie storytelling standpoint.
But I think Doomsday is the more commercial. But what will put superhero fatigue aside for a second? Marvel released 3 movies last year, and every single one underperformed. At a time when Marvel could just release anything, it was $1 billion. Those days are gone.
Yeah.
So what do? I do think it will move in some way. Although I will say this, having just lived on a longer timeline, lots of big movies opened on the same day. Is there a crossover between Dune fans and Marvel fans?
I think so. I mean, it's winter break. You know, you're gonna have time to see more than one movie.
Right.
I think this is the smart move for Avengers because they need to make money, and I do think they will make more money premiering on its own. The point there is your movie good enough for repeat viewing? Because if it's not, then we're gonna watch Doomsday opening weekend, and then we're gonna watch Dune, and then we'll watch Dune again, and then watch Dune again. And you know, unless Doomsday pulls it out and becomes a great movie, you know, this is the only way they're going to make some kind of money off this film.
Well, my prediction is Marvel will blink.